Changes are coming for both the Kings and the Ducks. And we want to welcome you back to Royally Quacked, where, of course, I'm Royally and he's quacked.
Yeah. Big changes for both teams. Big changes.
Yeah, it's that time of year. I think both teams this season, even though we're both out now, definitely played better and improved. Yet, not all the desired results have happened, so things have changed. So, how you doing today, Cody?
I'm doing good. I'm happy. Just finished breakfast and
I'm
happy to be on.
I'm getting an echo from you, Cody.
You're getting an echo from me?
Yep.
All right.
Hold on, fans, while Cody fixes the echo.
I don't know how much I'll be able to fix.
Would it be on my end?
It could be on your end. It depends on what you have your speaker hooked up.
Let me go to...
I mean, is it an annoying echo?
Yes. It's... I got... Well, that's got... the Riverside has echo cancellation. Does StreamYard have that too?
No, I don't think so. I think you're probably hearing me from your speaker from your laptop too.
Okay, let's go to speaker.
Wow, I can't believe we're doing this live. All right. Well, there were both big changes this last week for both the Ducks and Kings. You good there?
Let me see. Let's see if this does it. All right, talk.
All right. Wow, I can't believe we're actually.
Now I can't hear.
You're good?
Okay, that didn't work.
All right. Well, let's just keep going because, Dad, we are live.
Okay.
So you want to get into Kings news while we're going?
Sure. All right. Starting off, the Kings and Vice President and General Manager Rob Blake have mutually agreed to part ways. It was announced today that was a few days ago by President Luc Robitaille. The search for a replacement will begin immediately. Also from Luc Robitaille, he does not expect a coaching change, citing that Hiller's regular season success. He also mentioned how the new GM will have the final say, but would be shocked if he would be let go. I think this guy is coming back for sure. Those were actual quotes from Luc Robitaille.
Yeah.
So we have some social media polls right now, Cody.
Yeah. So earlier this week, I put on Instagram and Twitter on what the Kings fans think of. Let's see. I think the first one I asked was, should Jim Hiller come back as the Kings head coach next season? On Instagram, we had 4 votes, 3 no, 1 yes. And on Twitter, we had a total of 19 votes, and 21% said yes and 79% said no. And Kings fan on Twitter or X said regular season is great, but you are defined by the playoffs. So, and I also asked who they wanted the GM to be, and one person replied, if I could find it. Where did it go? I had it somewhere. Michael Futa is the only answer, and that was from HBLA Kings fan on X. So, yep. And then, yeah, that was all. That was the polls I put out on Twitter and Instagram this last week.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Cody.
So, what do you think about that?
I don't know.
Do you
I don't
think?
want to.
Do you think Hiller should be back next year?
I would say he did enough to do that. I go, sometimes you have to learn from your mistakes. And I think he did make a huge mistake in game 3.
I think it was more than just game 3, though.
But game 3 is where it started.
Game 3 is where it started, yes.
Yeah, so other than that, I think he should, I think he deserves to come back. But the general manager will have a big say in that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know there's already, I don't
speculations.
Speculations, maybe Ken Holland, ex Oiler GM, might be there. And have you heard anybody else? That's the only one I think I've heard. I thought you,
Michael Futa,
who has been in the Kings organization before, and was part with. Why can't I think of his name now? It's what happens when you get older. The scouting director.
Oh, okay.
Zanetti.
Oh, okay.
They worked very close together to do some great drafts for the Kings in the past. So we'll see what happens. It's just starting to get some play, and obviously in the news, and rumors are going to happen. I think maybe next week we might have more information. I'm hoping they're going to want to do something soon. I mean, because they want to definitely have a new GM before the draft.
Yeah, especially that the draft is in LA.
And then also, before because right before the draft, and then you have free agent opens up on July 1st. So,
yep.
On other Kings news, Martin Chromiak will play for Team Slovakia at the World Championships. Not only that, but Philip Deneau is also playing for Team Canada. So, and I'd already mentioned, I think he's the third stringer, but the Hammer is also the third string goalkeeper for USA. So, and I got a quote, losing to your former team is never enjoyable. Since I wasn't offered a contract by them, it's a bit more personal in that regard as well. Now, I didn't know that they didn't offer him a contract.
Yeah.
The most frustrating part is I genuinely believe we were the superior team, and that's Warren Fogle on losing to the Oilers in the first round. And I got to say, to me, he was the biggest pickup the Kings had last year. I love him being on the Kings. I think he has just been such a pick-me-up that the Kings picked him up. So, I thought when we signed him and then Arvidsson went to Edmonton, I thought, man, we really lost that one. But it was the reverse. We actually won that one.
You and a lot of Kings fans thought that.
Well, no, and you would think it was, because Victor was he was a key proponent on the power play, and I think Kuzmenko coming in helped with that, because we didn't have that right-handed shot that could make a difference. So
yeah.
Then also, we'll just move on from that right now and go to congratulations to Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty for being selected to the NHL quarter century team, which they had multiples of those. I think this was from I want to say 2000, maybe to 2010. I think they had multiple years on that, because I know you have news for a Duck that's on one of those teams.
I haven't done, I saw that these players made the team, but I didn't see exactly the post and everything. So
well, there was multiple posts, because when I saw yours, I looked it up to see who else was on the team, and there was multiple teams
okay
from different eras on the quarter century team. So they did some era quarter century teams.
See if I can look it up while you're still doing that.
Anyways, also Elliot Friedman has also heard Ken Holland's named around LA. Ken Holland met with Luc Robitaille on Thursday. That sounds like it might be an actual thing that might even come into play. I mean, he's a great GM.
Yeah.
I mean, he was obviously the one that helped pick Draisaitl and McDavid. I mean, McDavid wasn't. That was a no doubter. Whoever was going to get the first pick in the draft was taking him. So then other Kings news is Marco Sturm is under serious consideration for the Boston Bruins head coaching position per David Pagnotta. And he also interviewed with Vancouver. And I want to say, Cody, I've tried everything on that Echo and it's on your end.
I know.
Okay. So.
But I'll work on it.
Okay. So you want to go to Duck News?
Yeah, Ducks News. So the draft lottery happened this last Monday, and I like how they did it live, but I wish they would have done something like to explain everything better. Like, I feel like a lot of us were very confused this whole process. Like, they didn't tell us like, oh, each team has a specific four number combination with this many combinations, and if it's your numbers, then you win. But like, they really didn't specify and everything, so it was a bit confusing. And then I feel like the process could have been done better, but I do like that how they did it live, so that part I did like. But yeah, so the Ducks fall back 2 spots, but the Ducks weren't the only team to fall back 2 spots, because the Islanders went from number 10 all the way to number 1, and then Utah won the second lottery pick, and they went from 14th to 4th. So, and because you can only move up 10 spots. So Utah now has the number 4 overall pick. So I believe, see if I have it somewhere. I know I have it. Where'd it go? I guess I deleted it. Damn it. So like, a lot of teams fell back 2 spots because the Islanders weren't supposed to be in the top 3 or getting the number 1 pick, and the Utah was 14th overall and wasn't supposed to get the 4th overall pick. So, but they won the lottery. That's how it works. So I believe it goes Islanders, Sharks, Blackhawks, Utah. I believe Nashville Bruins or Philly are like right there. And then Buffalo and then Anaheim is 10th. But this is, I believe, the 4th or 5th time in the last 7 or 8 years, I want to say, that the Ducks have fallen back. They've either stayed pat or dropped back. In the 32-year history for the Anaheim Ducks, we have never moved up in any draft. I
think, and we'll probably talk about this during the off season. We're probably going to do the, what could we change? I think it just needs to go back to worst record, first pick.
Connor Bedard, you are officially an Anaheim. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have Leo Carlson.
I know. I like Leo.
Yeah. So.
All right. And here's we're gonna I'm gonna skip that first. World Championships. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players playing in the World Championships. For Team Sweden, we have Isaac Lundestrom and Leo Carlson. And then for Norway, we have the Norwegian nightmare himself, Stan Solberg. And then for Team USA, you got Jackson Lacombe and Cutter Gauthier. And Cutter Gauthier did score the first goal for Team USA in the tournament. So,
attaboy, and I saw that goal.
Yeah, I was still working. So
yeah, I saw that goal. I text you that he scored.
Yeah. And then congratulations to Timu Solani on being named to the NHL quarter century team. As like what my dad talked about during the Kings news. So congratulations to Timu on that. That's not a shocker to me at all that he's on there. And then some coaching news. I know this doesn't really have to do with the Ducks, but it kind of does at the same time. Despite David Carl signing an extension with Denver, there is still speculation about a potential like opt-out in his contract that can keep him in the running for the Ducks head coaching job in the near future. The interview with Anaheim reportedly went well, so don't count him out just yet. So I don't know if that's like an out, like he can get out right now, or an out eventually. It didn't really specify. So, but that has really nothing to do now because the Anaheim Ducks have announced their 12th head coach of the franchise. Welcome to Anaheim. Joel Quenneville is the new boss behind the bench. And I know there's a lot of drama and everything about this. I don't want to get into the whole nitty gritty about everything. What he did in Chicago in 2010 was horrible. But like I said, I believe everyone deserves second chances. I just wish his second chance wasn't like straight into a head coaching job. Like I wish he could have done like assistant coach or head coach in the AHL or something not like where you can only get 32 jobs in the whole world for this an NHL head coach. But like I said, outside of the whole like what happened in Chicago, I love this pick for a head coach. Like in like what they said in the press conference, like there's similar like vibes and fit from when Quenneville went from started in Chicago in 2008 when Chicago was up becoming a team, or not becoming a team, like getting better. So there's a lot of similarities between the two, like the Anaheim Ducks now and the Chicago Blackhawks then.
And well, the Ducks just got a guy who's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion coach.
Yeah, and he's the second winningest coach in NHL history. But like I said, I'm just talking about the NHL side of it, not talking about the bad side of it. So like I said, I don't want to get into it fully. I know a lot of people. I've seen a lot of mixed between this. Like I've seen a lot of people that are super excited, like they support this team no matter what, and they believe the press conference. I feel a lot better after watching the press conference. I do feel a lot better about everything, but I'm still scared about the situation. And I'm going to say this: late arrivals. Chris said he wants everything to be very transparent. Like if something happens, we want to hear how it's handled, how it's done, and everything's done the right way. So, like I said, I'm gonna just go on just the NHL side because, like I said, I don't want to tell you guys how you should feel about this. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. You're not gonna be the first person to disagree with me.
Well, Cody, this just came in my head, so this isn't something we've discussed before. But a guy named Saul, back in Jesus's day, right? He persecuted the Christians. He was there and fully supported the stoning of Stephen. So this guy was a murderer. And I don't know if everybody believes in God. I do. I do believe there's a God. God revealed himself to this guy. And you talked about a guy who persecuted, wanted to just kill Christians, went to being the guy who wrote most of the New Testament. Not all of it, but a good portion of the New Testament. So a bad person, that God used him. God used him to write a good portion of the Bible, and God forgave him. And if God can forgive someone, I think we should too. Now, does that mean we have to have ultimate trust in that person and not kind of keep an eye on them. But I don't think in Anaheim we have this. We don't have the same boat of people, anyways. And when it comes to hockey and knowing hockey, I mean, you're talking the second highest amount of wins by a coach and a team that's looking for leadership in a lot of different ways. Now they've got the leadership on the bench. What's going to happen this summer for the Ducks? I mean, is it Mitch Marner? I mean, could it be John Tavares? Could it be some other free agent that comes in that makes the Ducks a team to be reckoned with? I think they need something. But Quenneville being the coach, that might get somebody there that you wouldn't have gotten with Cronin. So the overall idea of the move, even though it's the enemy of the Kings, I mean, as a hockey fan, I'm looking at it. I thought that was a step up. The Ducks made a step up on that. Kings, we need to do something with the GM, somebody that can come in and hopefully make a difference, because I've gotten to enjoy the last 4 years being better than the Ducks. And, the Ducks are on their way up, and it might be where, I'm the one going, oh, we're rebuilding and the Ducks are in the Stanley Cup playoffs in the future. I hope that's not necessarily true. I hope they both make the Stanley Cup playoffs. I'm not a Duck hater by any means. The only time I really don't like them is when they're playing my Kings.
I just hope we both make it, and then we play another team and you guys lose to the Oilers again in the first round, for the 9th straight time.
Let's hope that all changes, that we don't play the Oilers or we beat them just once. We should have beat them this year.
Yes, you should have.
Yeah.
And you guys ruined my bracket. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. You guys weren't the main reason. Colorado and Tampa ruined my bracket, but that's on another story. But like I said, what you said was pretty much perfect. Like, it seems like a lot of the players are on board with Quenneville. Vetrano played for Quenneville in Florida. Gudis played for Quenneville in Florida as well. There was somebody else that played for him, or Ryan Strome spoke about it, and he said, like, when they announced the hiring and everything, he got like 10 to 15 texts saying like how good of a guy and coach that Quenneville is. So
we're gonna see you got to get, he's there.
Yeah.
And if you're a Duck fan, you can watch with a wary eye, but let's see what he does. I mean, it's in the same instance, with the change that's going on with the Kings, along with that, with a new general manager. What does the general manager want? They want their own coach, and I thought, Hiller did a pretty good job until game 3. And then game 3, that's where we lost it. And I go, and if you really look at right now, Edmonton's up 2-0 on Vegas. What had happened during the season is their players didn't perform. McDavid was hurt. Him and Draisaitl always perform, but the others, I can't even think of his name. Hyman. He had a 50-goal season last season, and he was just a shadow of himself. And Bouchard was, a top 10 defenseman last year, and he was a shadow of himself. Darnell Nurse, who never does anything, has been playing great. So somehow, Nobla got the best out of these guys after 2 games and losing 2 games, and did a great coaching job to bring that team back up, which I'm going to bet on you is going to play Winnipeg or Dallas in the final.
Yeah.
I mean, they wiped out Vegas in Vegas twice. Oh, not wiped them out, but beat them.
Yeah. 1-goal games each time.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Vegas is tough. They've got such a great defense.
Yeah.
So,
But like I said, I don't want to like the whole Quenneville situation. Hockey wise, I'm like I said, just hockey wise, I love it. Perfect. We need this. But like I said, I know I don't like I said, I feel better after watching the press conference. If everything keeps, like, and actually I should probably say this too. They did a whole investigation before hiring Quenneville. They did, like, the Ducks and the Samuelis did their own investigation behind Quenneville, and the Samuelis and Pat Verbeek and Joel Quenneville all talked to Kyle Beach. He was the one that got was part of the whole not the situation, was part of the scandal, the main victim, and he gave his consent for Quenneville to get hired. I'm pretty sure if Pat Verbeek and the Samuelers would have been like, hey, how would you feel about Quenneville being our coach? Would you be okay with that? And he said no. I'm pretty sure Quenneville would not be our coach right now. So, but obviously, like, if Kyle Beach can get behind this, why can't everyone else? I'm just saying he was the main victim in this. Like, I'm not saying what Quenneville did was bad, but he's not the one that did the bad stuff either.
he just kind of made it not where people couldn't see it.
He should have taken care of the situation a lot better. And he's already came out and said, he regrets everything he did. And he even said he hopes that everyone doesn't follow his inactions and stuff like that. Like I said, if you guys want to, it's on the Ducks website. It's like 25 minutes long. The reporters asked him some hard questions too. So, like I said, it's not like they held back, and he answered every single question. I thought the answers came out really well. So, like, it is a very sensitive subject. I understand, but you also got to remember Stan Bowman just got hired last season for the Edmonton Oilers, and he was probably just as involved as Quenneville was. And like I said, and I haven't heard as much backlash from that but maybe because I'm more on the Ducks side, and I follow a lot more Ducks people than Edmonton people, obviously. So, like I said, but I haven't heard, like, even like it was so loud on social media that even Elliot Friedman said something on 32 Thoughts about it. But I don't remember ever hearing anything about that in Edmonton, like when they were hiring Stan Bowman as their general manager. And he got his job, a general manager job, right away, pretty much too. So, but like I said, I don't want to change anyone's opinion. It's your opinion. If you like the move, great. We can talk about it. If you hate the move, I support you with that too. Like I said, I don't want to tell you how to feel about this, but like I said, as just a hockey move, I love it.
Agreed, Cody. Agreed. We want to move on to league news now?
Yeah, let's move on to league news.
So why don't I do a few and you see if you can get that echo stop, because it's driving me crazy.
I can't switch anything while we're recording, so
okay, never mind.
Yep.
All right, sorry. So I'll start off and we'll go there. First part of league news: Flames re-signed pending restricted free agent forward Matt Coronado to a 7-year, $6.5 million AAV contract extension.
What a great contract.
Yes, got 2 more years than Byfield.
Yeah. And we got our daily Frankie Cruz. Kings and Ducks sucks, but not the Yankees. Okay, Frankie. Okay.
Just because the guy hits 3 home runs, Frankie, doesn't mean the Kings and Ducks suck. We love you anyways, Frankie.
I believe the Kings have won more championships recently than the Yankees have, if I do remember right.
Yeah, I think so.
They've won 2.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we can't say the Yankees are number 1 in baseball,
yeah,
just like Montreal's in hockey
yeah.
and the Celtics are in basketball, at least right now.
Next bit of league news: the Avalanche are the first team in all of professional that have the Game 7 playoff format, MLB, NBA, NHL in history to lose 7 consecutive Game 7s. Eesh. And Pete DeBoer, I believe, is the first coach to go 9-0 in Game 7s.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Well, speaking of the Avalanche,
Avalanche.
Avalanche player, Miko Rantanen is the first player in NHL history to have a 4-point period in back-to-back games, regular season and playoffs. He is also the first player to score a third period Game 7 hat trick. And man, after his super slow start after both trades, did he pick it up? Well, of course,
Yeah,
we
he did.
knew that was going to happen. He's a stud.
Yeah. The moose is loose. All right.
I mean, I mean, we would have both gladly accepted him as a member of our teams, I'm sure.
I was fully ready for the Ducks, but like, you know what? We'll give you this, and here's an 8x15 contract. I was fully expecting that for him, but you know, but I guess he wanted to go back into the Centrals because he was mad about the trade to Carolina in the first place. So he wanted to get back at Colorado, and I think he definitely got back at Colorado.
Yeah. Rantanen 1, Avalanche 0.
Yep. Cole Perfetti scored the latest tying goal game in Game 7 history.
You mean latest game tying goal?
What did I say?
I'm not sure, but it wasn't game tying goal.
Oh,
I think you said
latest
tying game goal.
tying game goal. Same thing. Just
So did you hide some hockey names somewhere in here for me to screw up?
I maybe they're going to be somewhere in here. But all right, Cole Perfetti scored the latest game tying goal in Game 7 history. I think it was what 2 seconds left.
I think it
around there?
was. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Very crazy.
I just saw a video of a bar in St. Louis, and they were counting down like 10, 9, and then they saw the goal, and it was just silent and just devastation after that.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So on to the next piece of league news. We finally have a name for Utah. Drum roll.
Oh, too late.
The Utah Mammoth.
Yeah. So
I like everything about that. I like the color. I like the logo. I like everything. What a great job by Smith. What an owner he is.
Ryan Smith.
Yeah, Smith. Yeah.
You said Mike Smith.
I didn't say Mike. I said by Smith.
Oh, by Smith. Oh, I thought you said Mike Smith.
I didn't give him his first name.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but there are some hidden Easter eggs in the Mammoth logo itself. So if you look at you obviously got the mountain ranges, and then you look at the very left-hand corner, you can see the outline of Utah. And I know there's more. I just can't think of it. I think they said so. Like I said, I'm trying to look at it, but I know the tusk is in the shape of a U for Utah.
Yeah.
So I actually really like the U with the tusk going through it like that. I like that logo. I think that's. I really like that.
They've done a great job.
I just wish they kind of would have added a little bit of like the mammoth brown kind of to it. a little bit.
Well, that's not their colors though,
They could have made it their colors.
but they didn't.
Yeah.
How
And
many
then-
brown jerseys do you see?
Yeah, how many purple jerseys do you see? None anymore. But here are the jerseys. I like how they kept the away jerseys the same. All they did was add the Mammoth logo to the shoulders, pretty much. So they kept that the same. So I like the look. I love the name. At first I wanted Yeti, but I knew that one wasn't going to happen. So we got Mammoth was my second choice. And
Yeah.
if you got to watch the video they came out with for this, they did it really well.
They've done everything else well. Why not that? I like it. Yeah.
And now they got the 4th overall pick.
And you know that they have some talent on that team. They're an up and coming team, just like the Ducks are.
I wouldn't be shocked if they trade that pick. Would not be shocked.
Well, trade to get a player.
Trade, yeah.
Okay.
Because I know that they want to be contenders too. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Something I forgot to talk about, but we'll talk about it after.
Okay.
The Sabres announced that they have hired former Sabre Eric Stahl as the special assistant to the general manager. The reason I'm laughing at this because all you Office fans out there, there's the joke because I know, Dad, you haven't really watched The Office. You tried to get into it, but you couldn't. You know the Dwight guy, at least?
Yeah.
So he wants to be under Steve Carell's character. He wants to be the assistant regional manager. And Steve Carell's character he's like, no, you're the assistant to the regional manager. So that's why it's a running joke. Instead of being the assistant regional manager, he's the assistant to the regional manager. That's why the way it worded and everything, it just gave me Office vibes right there. Assistant to the general manager. Instead of assistant general manager.
I get it.
Yeah. it's an Office joke. If you guys understood the Office joke, put a like on the video. We'd like that. if you understood the reference, put a like.
There you go. More Miko Rantanen news. He has factored on each of his team's last 12 goals, which marks the longest streak by a player in Stanley Cup playoff history. Boy, has he
yeah.
Is he really ticked off at Colorado? Look at what you just gave up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carolina, what they gave up.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been on fire.
Yeah, he's on a run right now. And it's funny because he also didn't help really much last night because they lost 4-0.
Yeah,
so,
I watched that game.
I guess Hellenbuck really wanted to prove to people last game.
Well, you know what? If he really wants to really solidify the Vezina, you think about it, you have to do it in the playoffs too.
Yeah.
I mean, he just can't do it in the regular season, and he's been awful in the playoffs. Yeah. Or his team and him have been awful.
Yeah, that's for sure. They have been awful. Last bit of news is Vernon Cross. Oops, I just closed my tab. Vernon Cross is very confident that this group will bring an NHL franchise back to Atlanta, as reported by Greg Wisniewski. So, and I like, and Greg's a good source. He is, I would say, a trusted source. So I'm just trying to get all my stuff back up.
Well, I just, Russell Morgan just, I think, posted, I'm thinking, is this on X? This is what he said. I think he's part of the, God, what's the name of their podcast?
I don't even know.
He's been on with Eddie Garcia, he's had a couple of the guys on from.
Mayor's Manor.
No,
All the King's Men.
No, that's Jesse Cohen.
I don't know.
I'll have to look it up. But this is what he says: Mitch Marner and Sam Bennett are going to be so good in LA.
You guys can't afford both.
I didn't say it. He did.
Hmm.
Let me see if I can find. I'm going to find their podcast because I want to give them some due here. Hockey Royalty. Hockey Royalty podcast. So that just popped up on my phone as a notification, and I go, I thought I'm going to throw that in there. I mean, wouldn't that be something? But God, who do you have to give up or pay for to get both of those guys?
Yeah, you're going to Dowdy and Kopitar are probably going to be on their way out if that happens.
Possibly.
So
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where he came up with that. I didn't see any other reference to it. So,
actually, just saw this on Twitter. David Pagnotta, he was one that reported the first Quenneville being hired in the first on Thursday. He put on X, not sure on time frame, but hearing the Ducks and new head coach Joel Quenneville will be making some changes to the coaching staff. And then he also commented on his own post. Quick follow-up, sounds like the Ducks will be replacing their assistant coaches. Thank God, because our special teams were horrible.
he needs to hire Newell Brown from the Kings.
No, he's staying in LA. Okay. He stays there. We don't want Newell Brown back.
I don't want Newell Brown. All he did is design that one like power play, and it's like people keep giving it to him, and bringing him in, and he hasn't done it. He hasn't done anything in two places now for sure since he's done that.
Wow, that sounds so familiar because he only had the one trick when he was in Anaheim too. Yeah. So you say he's a one-trick pony?
Yeah, one trick pony. Agreed.
Yeah.
Something we both agree on at Royally Quacked.
So another thing I forgot to mention is that the Henry Samueli also told Verbeek and Quenneville that they don't want to be but they want the rebuild to be over. So he gave Pat Verbeek pretty much an open checkbook without stupid contracts to spend the cap and make this team a contender. He's tired of being at the bottom. He wants to be on top again. I mean, we got all the OC vibe coming. We got the renovations to the Honda Center, which look great. Rendition so far. He wants us to be a hockey market in Anaheim. So, and that's a good thing that he's trying to make everything around the Honda Center better. Artie Marino. Sorry. Little cough there. I don't know if you caught that, but I guess not. I'm just glad that one Anaheim owner is actually taking their sports team serious. That's good to know. And actually spending money to help make everything better.
Well, the other guy tried to do it last year, and was it last year?
No, that was like 2 or 3
years ago. Man. He sat there and bought all those guys, and then basically gave them away for nothing. And we lost all these prospects for that. I mean, jeez.
All right.
Don't get me started. Wrong sport, anyways.
I know.
So are you going to talk about playoffs now?
Playoffs. Let's talk about playoffs. Do you want to do anything for World Championships or no?
I know USA beat
Denmark
5-0.
Sweden won 5-0.
Canada won.
Let's see what's the game details. Leo Carlson in the Slovakia game when they won 5-0. He had, he scored 1 goal. Isaac Lundestrom had an assist. And
Isaac's a UFA, right?
He's an RFA, I believe.
Okay. So they can keep him. I thought he was he was an RFA last year too.
Yeah. Let's see. I thought he had another assist. But I guess not. It's too many guys with the last name Sun in the end of their name on Team Sweden. All right, but yeah, let's go into playoffs. All right. So last time we talked, we didn't have two teams in the second round for the Central. Which game 7 do you want to talk about first? St. Louis, Winnipeg, or Dallas, Colorado?
Let's go Winnipeg, St. Louis.
All right, Winnipeg, St. Louis. Let's see. What a game this was. A third period comeback by Winnipeg. St. Louis was up 3-1. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to adjust my leg. Going into the third, and then Vladislav Nemestikov and Cole Perfetti each scored a goal each in the third period to tie it up 3-3 to go into overtime. And Adam Lowry scores his third of the series in double overtime on a deflected shot, and Winnipeg moves on, defeats the St. Louis Blues, and they play the winner of Colorado and Dallas.
And last week, we picked the winners of that. Who did you pick?
Let's talk about the Dallas Colorado game first.
No, who did you pick?
I picked yes. Let's move on.
Yeah, because we split up. I picked Winnipeg. He picked St. Louis. Who won? Winnipeg. Now let's go to the Dallas. Let's go to the Dallas Colorado game.
I want to say something, but I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh, so another game 7, and in this game, Colorado started off with the lead, 2-0, I think.
It was 1-0 after 2. Josh Manson scored a short.
Yeah, but goal. Also in the third period, McKinnon scored to make it 2-0, and that's when Miko Rantanen took over.
He said, "Hold my beer. The moose is loose."
He scores at the 7:49 mark to make it 2-1. He scores at the 13:46 mark to make it 2-2. He assisted on the power play on Wyatt Johnson's goal at the 16:04 mark to make it 3-2, and he scored an empty netter at the 1957 mark to make it 4-2. So he was involved, of course, in all four scores. And Cody picked Colorado. I picked Dallas. So last week I am 2-0, and Cody is 0-2.
Doesn't help. Mama Quack is listening, and she just told me she's listening, so I can't say, but just read between the lines. Anyways,
you think Mom doesn't know what that means?
No, you're talking crap on her number one son. Okay.
I am not talking crap on you.
You're talking crap.
I gave you choice. You took first on both of them.
No, no. You had choice. You had first choice on Dallas. I had the first. I picked St. Louis first. No, you can't see me, Mom. No, you can't.
Hey,
I'm John Cena.
Does Mom hear the echo?
Mom, do you hear the echo? After we're almost 50 minutes into this thing,
I'm just curious.
I think it's only on your end.
Okay, good. So it's not be on the recording.
So Dallas, but all right. So now it's Dallas and Winnipeg in round 2. And again, Miko Rantanen goes off, and Mom says no echo.
Thanks, Mom.
So it's
honey.
Mama,
I should say honey.
It's Mama Quack now.
Mama Quack.
Yeah. Yes. So Miko Rantanen in the second period goes off for a hat trick. All 5 goals in this game for Dallas Winnipeg in game 1 were all in the second period. Nino Niederreiter scored, and then Rantanen for 3 straight. And then Mark Scheifele came back for game one. And it was 3-2 Dallas in game one. And then in game four, no, I'm sorry, not game four, game two, Winnipeg Jets shut out the Stars because the only person, if you shut down Rantanen, you pretty much shut down Dallas apparently now. And they did just that. So the Jets win 4-0 in game two. Now that series is tied 1-1.
And it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
I don't even care if it's a 4-1 winner. The games are going to be battles between those two teams.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, Hellebuck stood on his
Head.
I watched the game.
Um,
Dallas, they just couldn't get anything to go. So
yep.
now, and the more shocking part over in the Western Conference is, again, it's a Pacific Division, the Pacific Division final, and it's the Vegas Golden Knights and the Edmonton Oilers. And they played the first two games in Edmonton. And Edmonton has won game one. I think it was that was an overtime, right?
No, that was a 4-2 game. The second game was in overtime. Hello, Earth.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Actually, where's the first game at? When did they play their first game?
Tuesday, May 6th.
Yeah, it was 4-2, but it was a close game going in. Here you go again. It looks like the Kings game all over again, doesn't it? Mark Stone scored in the first period, 2:13 into the game, 1-0. Then who scored again? Mark Stone, the guy who's always on LTIR and comes back to play in the playoffs, although that didn't happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
2 years in a row, so it's 2-0.
That's because it was Shea Theodore this year.
It's always somebody, right?
But they didn't make any big moves during the trade deadline, so I'll give them a pass on it.
Yeah, I guess so. Then what? Edmonton scored 4 straight goals.
4 straight goals.
Scorey Perry scored the first in the second period. No, first period to make it 2-1. And then they didn't score anything until the third period. Draisaitl scored, Hyman, and then Connor Brown. And I got to tell you, what's the difference between the Oilers and the regular season, especially towards the end of the regular season and in the playoffs, is everybody's producing for them.
Yeah.
All the guys who had down seasons this year, like Hyman, Bouchard, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor Brown. Darnell Nurse, who deserved a 10-game suspension and only got one. They're all producing. So yeah, it was a 4-2 victory for Edmonton. And then we go to Thursday, and that was I don't want to say everything, Cody. You want to jump in? And Vegas took a lead again. They're up 1-0 in the first period.
Yeah, and then first period, and then the second period, Jake Wallman, Podkolzin, and Nurse score 3 straight goals before William Karlsson scores their second goal, all in the second period. So it's 3-2 Edmonton heading into the third period. And then Evander Kane, Victor scored the fourth goal for Edmonton, and then Vegas comes back this time and makes it 4-4. Victor Olofsson and Pietrangelo each score and make it 4-4. We go into overtime, and then who else in overtime but Leon Draisaitl with the goal, and who else gets the assist is Connor McDavid. So
and Scary Perry or Scory Perry.
Scory Perry. Yeah, so the big three win it for Edmonton. God, he's 39 years old and still looking like this.
Yeah.
He's literally going to play until he's on crutch, like in a wheelchair or with a walker, isn't he?
So now Edmonton's up 2-0 going into Edmonton.
That's great. I would not have guessed that.
So there's going to be at least 3 or 4 games played after 3 games played this next week. Do you think we have a winner
For Edmonton and Vegas?
in Vegas? Yeah.
Let's see. Game
Excuse me.
6 is on Friday. I think we're going to find out game 7 on Sunday, next Sunday.
You think they're going to go to Edmonton and get back in the series, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. What about we didn't even do the Dallas Winnipeg. So Thursday is game 5. Do you think we have a winner by our next podcast for this series? Game 6 for Dallas and Winnipeg. Game 6 is Saturday. Game 7 is Monday.
No.
Okay, I agree.
I don't. I can't see it. Doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yeah.
Because I've been surprised a lot this year. It's been a shocking season. I mean, one is I never expected Washington to be as good as they are.
You good there?
Yeah, I just got a little tickle and I can't get it out. But it's been a really surprising season, and it's honestly, we're kind of done with the West. We're going to go to the East, and I think I want to do Washington, Carolina first, and I want the Toronto, Florida last. I go, because I think Carolina took game 1, right?
Carolina took game 1 in overtime, 2-1,
and then Washington won 3-1.
3-1. Yep. They play tonight at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and this is in Carolina. So the series is tied 1-1, heading back to Raleigh.
I can't not see this not going 7 games. I just cannot see that.
Well, we can't pick every series to go 7.
But I don't. Those are 2 teams that are tough.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna change. Dallas will win in 6. Edmonton and Vegas will go 7. This is gonna go 6. I don't know whoever wins game 3 is gonna win it.
Ooh, you heard it here on Royally Quacked.
Yes.
By Cody, the Quacker Spink.
Quacker.
He predicts the winner of game 3 in the Washington Carolina series will win the series. So let's go Toronto, Florida, Cody.
I was watching the game last night. That was a game.
That was a great game. Yeah. I watched it too. What was shocking
is the Maple Leafs actually won 2 straight games.
Yeah, and against Florida.
Yeah.
Florida's been their kryptonite.
Yeah.
And they looked like they were going to take them again, and Florida came back. It was up. They were up 3-1.
Yeah.
And then Florida came back and they went up 4-3, and then it got tied. And then Florida won it in overtime, right?
Yeah. Brad Marchand scored the OT winner.
He was a great pickup for them.
Yeah, he was.
He's a winner. So you think, what do you think about this series? I can't see that not going 7.
I hate to say it. Leafs in 6.
I want to be. We did talk about this a little bit yesterday because we spoke a little bit yesterday about the podcast and so forth, because we had some other plans and they didn't come to fruition today. So how we were going to handle today, and we both were talking about, now that we're big Toronto Maple Leafs fans, but
whoa! No, we're not big Toronto Maple Leafs fans.
No, we're not. But it's good for hockey that Toronto would play well. because they need a team in Canada to do something. And since our teams are out, why not this year? Not Edmonton, though.
I mean,
Not Edmonton.
All the stars are lining up for the Maple Leafs to win. I mean, the last time a Toronto Leaf player wore the number 67 was in 1967 when Toronto last won.
Right.
Last time, what was it? There's been a whole bunch of things. Oh, the last time what was it? Detroit and Boston didn't make the playoffs. The Maple Leafs won. They were saying, what was the other one I just saw? Crap, what was the other one? I just had it and I lost it. But it's like all these. Oh, the Savard thing. And since 1966, there's been someone with the last name or surname Savard in the league. And guess who just retired from the league as soon as Montreal got eliminated? David Savard. And unless there's a random Savard coming in next year, which I don't know if there is or not, but the next year could be the first year we don't have a Savard. Could this be the year that?
I don't know.
Toronto. I will say there is a lot of coincidences that have happened that are leaning towards, 1967.
So I have a question for you, Cody.
The answer is C.
Okay.
What
do you think the odds are? And I'm gonna just pick these two teams to make it to the final. I'm not saying this is what I'm predicting.
Edmonton and Toronto?
No.
Oh.
Edmonton gets destroyed by whoever else better get destroyed. I have hatred for the Oilers.
More than Vegas?
More than Vegas, more than anybody else. More than somebody who's less than 50 miles away from our arena.
Okay.
Which we should be the biggest rivals. Edmonton, don't like them. What about Winnipeg, Toronto? What do you think the odds? Not that I'm predicting it.
Yes,
I Edmonton, Toronto. What do you think the odds would be?
Edmonton or Winnipeg?
I mean, Winnipeg, Toronto.
Oh, the odds would be crazy on that one.
Because you picked Dallas to win it. But if, say, Winnipeg wins and then whoever wins the other part of the West, and then Winnipeg and Toronto met in the final, what would you think the odds on that are?
10 billion to 1. I'm not an odds person.
Well, anyways, think about that. You finally have a Canadian team, 2 teams, not just one, 2 teams in there. It's going to happen. And tell me, Ducks and Kings fans, would you rather have Winnipeg or Edmonton be that other team? I bet you those odds are 1,000,000 to 1. They'd all want Winnipeg over Edmonton. Nobody likes Edmonton.
I would rather have Winnipeg. I'd much rather. I mean, I wouldn't mind Winnipeg just because I think Connor McDavid and Draisaitl deserve a championship, a Stanley Cup. But I do like Winnipeg a little bit more just because, one, they're not in our division. And I think that's why you're leaning to them a little bit more. So,
well,
I guess Winnipeg would be great, but it also, out of all the Canadian teams, even though Winnipeg was the President Trophy winner, I still can't imagine Winnipeg being the top Canadian team to win the first Canadian Stanley Cup since 1993.
Yeah, since Montreal beat the Kings.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, my hatred for Edmonton is what Darnell Nurse gets away with intentionally trying to hurt a player. And the other thing is the one thing I can't stand is, I mean, and I take nothing away from Connor McDavid, but the man holds the stick almost all the time. He doesn't even need to hold the stick. They need to call it against him. I mean, he can win it without it. Granted, I am a fan to watch him play. He is incredible. Cody, you frozen.
Oh, what? I don't know what happened. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just you look like you're looking up at the stars.
I don't know. It's just something happened to my computer.
Well, I can hear you. So that's we've talked about the playoffs then.
I don't know what happened. Hold on.
I'm going. I'm gonna have some. I had something about a news something for you. I'm trying to think of what team it was. I think I know which team it was. Okay, I do. Your trivia question: who was the leading scorer for the Dallas Stars this season? Wyatt Johnson is incorrect. He was third with 71 points. Are you still there? Yeah, because you sound far away now, too. Well, we can hear you. Hopefully, everybody can still hear you. It's the Gary Spink Show. Oh, okay. So, fans, anybody want to throw out there that they know who without looking it up on the internet?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you are. So, Wyatt Johnson was third. What's your next guess? Without looking.
Jamie Benn.
Jamie Benn was sixth with 49 points.
Jason Robertson?
Second with 80 points. Now you're shocked, right? Because I was just waiting for mom, and because my lovely wife had carpal tunnel surgery, which she's doing really well, fans. But you can keep praying for a quick healing for her. I was looking up all the stats on all. I looked every team up and who led the team in scoring, and this one blew me away. Who it was? I mean, not that he's not a good player and all. I just didn't think he'd be leading that team in scoring.
Trying to think who else is on Dallas. Wasn't Sagan because he was out most of the year.
It wasn't Sagan.
Oh, Marchment.
Marchment was
Was it Marchment?
Seventh. I'm talking about total points, not just goals and assists. He was second on the team in goals and first in the team in assists. This player. It's going to blow you away because you don't think about him. That's why it's so interesting. Let me tell you a little bit about him.
Okay.
He started in Colorado. He played for the Blue Jackets. He played for Nashville, and now he's at Dallas.
Oh my God, Duchesne.
82. He scored a point a game.
Wow.
What a great pickup he was for them when you think about that.
Never would have guessed that.
Yeah, I thought it was shocking and interesting. A little bit of a different kind of trivia question than we normally have. And I thought it was interesting. I went through every team, and that one was the one that kind of just caught my eye. And I go, I'm going to ask Cody if he knows this. I thought you might know it.
I keep forgetting that he's on the Stars.
Yeah, he's the guy that plays behind this. He's not like when you play against him, you hear about it, but you don't think about him when you're not playing against him. You're always thinking
Yeah.
about Robertson or Rupe Hintz or Heiskanen or Wyatt Johnson. Wyatt Johnson's going to be the star of that team in the future, I think.
Yeah, him and Rantanen together.
That's a they keep just rebuilding, not rebuilding, but retooling and bringing in players, and they stay good. And that's not easy to do in any sport. I mean, you can look at the Yankees. They were, until Judge came in, between when well, they always call him the captain. He's on that commercial where the guy from the bank is the star, and the astronaut and him aren't. Played shortstop. God, what's his name? Come on, Frankie, help me out.
I don't think Frankie's on anymore.
Oh, okay.
I apologize to people on the Instagram live. I don't know what happened on my end. I was just clicking out of stuff from on another monitor on a different tab, and everything. That's when you lost me. And I don't know what happened. I don't know. I can't see anything on Instagram live. I don't even know if we're still live on Instagram.
Oh, Derek Jeter.
Oh, you didn't remember Derek Jeter?
I couldn't think of his name. It's not like I can't. I remember him. I just couldn't think of his name. So
I don't know what happened with Instagram, but I can't see anything on the Instagram live thing.
okay.
Well, people on Instagram live, if it helps, come over to YouTube or Twitch, follow us there. You can watch it live there, and I could probably see your comments a lot easier from there, because on Instagram live, I have to be on Instagram to see your guys' comments. But if you guys do it on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook or even X, it appears on the StreamYard. That way I can see everything. So, but I think we covered everything, correct?
We did.
Okay.
A little bit of trivia, some Kings and Ducks news, league news, playoffs coming in the very near future. Not sure if it's going to be next week or not, but we're planning on.
We're planning on having a few guests on.
Well, let me finish. We're gonna have a Kings only episode with player grades, with having some special guests in. Not going to give any names out right now because we want to make sure they still can do it. That's what we're waiting for. And then we're also going to do Duck fans, one with the Ducks and player grades with special guests. So there'll be 1 week, it will be Kings or Ducks, and the following week would probably be the next one.
Yeah.
Depending on, we'd like to get other than just our opinions in there. So if we can get our special guests all to get together at the same time, that's what we're planning to do in the very near future. I'm sure Cody will put it out on Instagram and everything else once that we get that locked down.
Well, it is in the live stream show notes. I'll put it in the podcast show notes as well. I'll put it on all the social media stuff as well. But I'm going to talk a little bit of crap on the Kings fans, because so far I have the grades for everyone to go on. And so far we have 3 Ducks people that have responded and only 1 Kings fan.
Okay.
So
challenge accepted, Kings fans.
Right,
let's
how about
go.
This? Who do we have more of? Ducks fans or Kings fans? You tell. The more, I want to say whichever team gets more responses, that's who I think we have more of.
Oh, come on, Kings fans.
Nope, let's go Ducks. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's quack attack them. Yeah.
Quack attack them. Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, they're in the show notes. It's under Ducks grades. Just click on the Google Forms link and just do grades. It's pretty simple. A, B, C, D, E, or A, B, C, D, F for the grades. And then you got to just grade each person. And then, and you're done. It should probably take you less than 5 minutes to do everything. Unless you want to take your time and really think about it, which I'm all for. But we want to hear your guys' grades, and then we'll talk about them and everything. With the Kings episode, you probably won't see me, but I'll probably be in the background just doing all the producing stuff more for that episode. And then you'll probably have a week off with the Ducks one unless you want to produce that one.
Well, I would like to be part of it.
Yeah, you can be part
of
it.
It is our podcast.
Yeah, I'll probably just I'll be than this.
Well, I don't care if I'm seen.
Yeah.
I would like to. I'd like to be. I would like to be in the background myself. I don't know. You're the technical part of the whole team on this, but since he talked about Quack Attack, since I'm a king, off with his head.
Off with his head.
Off with his head.
But but yeah, guys, please, we want to hear your opinion on the grades.
Absolutely. Come on, Kings fans, let's start stepping up. Actually, I like to hear it for both teams.
Yeah, both teams. I want to hear from both teams.
I want to hear both teams. I want to hear more opinions. You're going to hear ours and our special guests that come in. And we'll go from there. We'll let you know what's going to be happening as soon as we know. We're just waiting for confirmation. So, and
we're waiting for the schedules to align.
Yeah, just like the stars aligning.
Just remember, flying V.
Yeah. Off with his head.
Off with his head. Jesus Christ. But
oh gosh.
All right, well, guys, just remember we are on YouTube and Twitch. You can, if you want to follow us live, you can go on there. I see a lot of views. I've been seeing a lot more views on the YouTube front, but not a lot of likes. So if you're watching it and viewing it, just drop a like. It doesn't hurt. It helps us. Doesn't hurt you. We would really appreciate the like. You can follow us on all the social media accounts: X, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads. We're all on there. And we want to hear, if you guys have any questions, please send it our way. We would love to hear from you guys. Like I said, we're not like the technical analytics podcast. We're like, go with the flow podcast. We like to talk about our teams. We love the game of hockey.
Yeah,
and we want to hear what you guys think about the game too. Last but not least, before we get out of here, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
Yes.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to our heavenly mothers.
Yeah.
Also. And I do have a challenge for all of our fans. Tell somebody about our podcast. Help us get it a little bit bigger than it is. Where we're going to get more responses and better, a lot more questions that you guys want to hear. And if you guys have a question, don't be afraid to ask. There's no stupid questions. The only time it's stupid is when you don't ask. I mean, I'm in leadership at work, and any question, I'll try to give an answer. And if I can't find the answer, I'll find someone who does. So, challenge to all the Kings and Ducks fans to share Royally Quacked, at least one person each week. Tell somebody about it. I've been doing that. I know Robert from work, he listened to the podcast. I know the guy who did the planter things for my wife and my mother-in-law. He liked and subscribed when I was standing there because I told him about the podcast. So, but help us grow. And there's nothing better than word of mouth. So, challenge to all the Kings and Ducks fans. And we do appreciate all of you that are loyal to us. And our odd podcast, which has rivals. No, but I don't know if anybody else does that.
I don't. I mean, the only person I can think of would be Eddie and Doug from the Puck Podcast.
Yeah.
But I know their teams are rivals and everything, but they talk about the whole league more than anything.
Right. Yeah. Isn't that weird that we have that and they have that? I mean,
Yeah.
you think that it would be a strange thing, but it really isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we're a house divided.
Mm-hmm. We are. So
Yeah,
all
we're
right.
still hockey fans and we go to games and we, you know,
Yeah.
and there's nothing but love in our families for hockey. So
Yep.
nobody's angry or mad. So
I'm always angry. That's why you never see me turn into the Hulk. I'm always angry.
no, you're always hungry.
Oh, right. That's right. Damn. I always get those two emotions mixed up.
I know.
That's why I always stay hangry.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody.
Like and subscribe, and
And
happy
share.
Mother's Day to everyone.
And happy Mother's Day. Until next week, guys.
Am I going first?
I'll go first. Go Kings, go.
Let's go Ducks. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
See you next week.